And there's lots of pressure because I said people expect a big audience, they expect everything to go right, and when you have 30 or 40 partners all bringing you news and information, it's in a live show environment. I have such an amazing team because it's really it's hard to make sure everything works. We were talking about the Joker moment and making sure that all worked. It takes not just me but our entire technical and producing team and everyone to sort of make sure that lands well. And we obviously only have one shot to do it, right? So I usually breathe a huge sigh of relief at the end of the show if everything kind of goes smoothly, which it normally
I think
does.
I had a tear that year when that reveal went. It was under so much pressure, and I just knew that if anything were to go wrong, it just would be a disaster. Like
Right.
there was
Yeah.
so much on the line in that moment for it to work. And
Yep.
I definitely shed a tear of like relief.
No, that's. I
like,
remember
"Oh,
you.
Thank God.
No, I remember you. Had flown down early because we had
Yeah.
rehearsals. Many days earlier, and you were there most of the week because we were trying to sort of plan
I
that.
know.
And
My
again, there's
gosh.
also so much secrecy around those things as well, right?
Exactly.
And that's the thing that we have to be very, very careful. I don't think we even got to see that asset until shortly before it happened, because one of the
Right.
things we really like to do is try and surprise people, and it gets harder and harder
Hand
every year.
delivered
Yeah.
a flash drive to you. Remember that?
Yep. Yeah. No, and that's what it really takes, right? Is that people ask about all our security protocols, and we don't obviously disclose all of them publicly, but a lot of it is comes down to very few people are involved in the assets across the entire show, and we're proud that we've never really had anything leak out of our show, and it's just it's basically just to try and preserve the surprise. It's so hard now with all the leakers and other things out there, but hopefully we find a few things that we look back at the moment we did. Certainly Joker was a big reveal. I think the revealing of Xbox Series X was another one that was like a really sort of big surprise.
That
to
was
have,
a big one.
New piece of hardware revealed for the first time on the show that no one was expecting. So we love those moments happen. It also creates a lot of pressure to sort of see like how can we continue to top ourselves, what can we do. And as I said, we're only as good as the games that are actually being made and the companies that are willing to give us news and content. That's another thing that I think is really special too, is that the fans can be in the audience, and you guys were there. I mean, the roar of like the Joker reveal and the shock of the fans and the energy, I think, is another thing that makes our show really unique from other award shows, is that the real fans are there and they get a chance to meet Reggie or be there in person, which again is like so rare. So yeah, we're excited the fans will be back again this year.
Since you mentioned you've been watching through all the shows, I have to ask, do you have a single favorite reveal or a moment? I think I know what you might say, but we got to find out.
Well, it's hard because there's sort of, I'll always be indebted to like that first Breath of Wild reveal, because it was just sort of the first year, and it was just so unexpected, right? To see like Miyamoto and Aonuma sitting there for 5 minutes just like playing the game, and it was just like gameplay, and it was such it was odd because it was like they were playing it and it was on a screen, and it was
surprised us too.
Yeah, it just made it on their own.
Yeah, that's what no one really knew, and I had very low. I think we all had very low expectations for what that was actually going to be, and I thought it was going to be something short. And then I remember getting the call. It was like a few days before Thanksgiving. It's like, oh wait, this is way more than we thought. It's like they're basically doing a demo of the game for 5 minutes. So that was really special in that regard, of just being the sort of the first thing in our first show. Over the years, I mean, there have been other ones that, like the Series X reveal was really cool, to sort of reveal hardware for the first time, which is something I never thought would ever happen on one of my shows, which was great. The Joker reveal was great. Bayonetta 3 was a great reveal. I mean, it feels like every year, hopefully there's one thing that sort of really is fun and surprises people. But which one did you think I was going to say?
Well, it's not a reveal, but I thought you might have mentioned the Reggie, Phil Spencer, Sean Layden moment
was a
on
moment.
stage.
Yeah.
I don't think there's been a similar moment. Obviously, Reggie and Sean have moved on since, but that was a great unifying moment for the industry.
Yes. No. In terms of moments, I think that was really special to me. It really took 5 years to happen. When I first started the show, I think that was sort of my secret dream, was to do something with all of the companies together, because as I said, we're in a unique position to have Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony all supporting the show. And for a variety of reasons, it just never came together, and that I don't think all three of them were there, or it just couldn't happen. And then in 2018, I give Reggie a lot of credit for that. He sort of said to me, we were at dinner in New York that fall, and he said, "Hey, I think maybe we should try and do that this year again. And we called actually Phil Spencer at the dinner and said, hey, would you be in for this? And yeah, we started to kind of put together the pieces for that. And obviously, a lot of negotiation about sort of, how does that work and who says what and all that. But I think everyone was united in trying to bring that together. And there was a lot of back and forth for many months really around that moment. But to your point, it was something that I really thought was going to be special. I would say a lot of people on my team were kind of questioning, like, do you really think this matters? And do you think this is going to be special? And I was like, no, I think to the audience, like, this idea of everyone unifying around the show and coming out on stage together, it was very symbolic, right? And there were a lot of questions about, were they going to announce anything? What were they going to say? And it really was just a positive message. But yes, that was I think for me the year that the show really kind of turned the corner, in that we had, went from them right into like a big orchestra performance with Hans Zimmer, and it was just a really, like, it was a super special year. And that was, I think that was also the Smash year, right, where I think we did Joker and we did the Smash Orchestra. I was just watching it back, and it was a really great show. So it's funny because you asked me about favorite moments, but also think of like favorite years, and it's really hard because every year sort of has a special element to it, and luckily I'm really proud of all the shows we've done. But yeah, that moment was extremely special, and I think, especially given all the drama that's been going on this year between like Microsoft and Sony and things like that, it reminds us of a simpler time.
Yeah, I think that moment was really, like, really special, and to your point, it's like very symbolic. And then I remember that year after, Reggie retired, so it was like,
Yep.
this sort of, like, I think it meant a lot to him, like, to have that
Yeah.
opportunity to do that. And obviously he's still super involved in the Game Awards, but like, it's just an interesting sort of way, to kind of like represent the unity of the industry in that way.
No, and
So
they're friends, right? And they all knew each
Yeah.
other, and they were all, I think, on the ESA board at the time together. And yeah, it was special. And that was also, at a time when Sony had pulled out of doing E3. So I remember, there were rehearsals and sort of joking like, oh, this is, you're not going to see this at E3. And it was like the three of them sort of all together on stage and stuff. So it was, it really, it meant a lot to me personally. And I also think, as you were saying, Kid, I think it was a signature moment for the show, because I think it really showed that something that only the Game Awards could do. And I think that was really, unifying for the industry and also the audience to see that happen. So yeah, that was definitely one of those moments I will look back on, as you said, that probably will never happen again, right? It was just sort of the right place and right time for that to come together. Really, strong response from the audience too. I was actually even more happy about how people responded to that moment. It was really sort of, galvanizing for the fans, which was really nice to see.